Hi Ravi. Ravi, hello.
Hi, Hemant. Is it Hemant or
एक बार
Bismay
एक
or
कैमरा पे
Karthik?
आना है। एक बार कैमरा पे आना।
हाँ जी।
हाय रावी। यार ये तो
Hi.
ठीक है लेकिन ये फायर सिर्फ फायरफ्लाइज को ही क्यों दिखा रहा है ये। एक बार कैमरा पे आना।
हाँ जी।
फायरफ्लाइज को क्यों दिखा रहा है। यार ये तो ठीक है लेकिन ये फायर Yes, I guess this is fine. So we are live on YouTube, Ravi. ठीक है।
Yeah, hi guys.
ठीक है। Ravi is here. Yes, cool. Will Sneha also join?
Yeah, I think she's in the meeting.
You think
Hi,
ठीक है।
hi, hi.
Ravi, यार चलो स्नेहा एक बार वीडियो ऑन कर ले यार। Will Sneha also join?
Yeah, I think she's in the meeting.
You think
Hi, hi, hi.
चलो स्नेहा एक बार वीडियो ऑन कर ले यार। Will Sneha
Yeah, I think she's hi, hi, hi.
ये स्नेहा एक बार वीडियो ऑन कर लेना।
Hemant, I'll try. अभी मैं बस बाहर हूँ. I'll find a spot.
ठीक है। ठीक है और राइट। ओके live on YouTube. So we need to take it from here. Hi guys, hi everyone who was live. We have Ravi with us and Sneha will also join on camera soon. This is a session on uh, SPJI, SPJIMR form filling, which is very important. And they have been there, they have done that, so they'll give you insider information on how to make your form better, how to go well in the group interview process, and what are the things you should keep in mind uh, while navigating the whole journey. So over to Ravi and Sneha from here. All the best. एंड हाँ हमारा GDPI कोर्स लाइव है जिसमें रावी एंड स्नेहा आर द मेंटर्स सो यस इफ यू वांट गाइडेंस फ्रॉम देम सो दे विल बी अवेलेबल इन द कोर्स एज अ पर्सनल मेंटर चलो ऑल ओवर टू यू
Thank you, Hemant. Thank you so much. Hi everyone. So first of all, congratulations all of you for getting this call. But your journey is not even halfway there. You need to, now that you have the calls, we need to ensure that you get all your offer letters as well very, very soon. But the first step for that is to fill the form, which we'll be discussing about today. So essentially, the SP Gen form, the second part of it, I think it's called Part B that you guys have to fill now. It's not that big of a deal, honestly. So do not feel, that there's way too much in it or you can't cover it. It's not honestly a lot. So I tried finding my form if I wanted to show you kind of some examples. I wasn't able to, but yeah, I think Sneha will also be willing to give you some examples for these. So there are four questions from what I know in your guys' forms. Please let me know if I miss anything or if I say anything incorrect, because that's the information that I have gotten from a few people filling the form this year. So first question is, there standard state 10 random things or statements about you. Each statement should not be more than 10 words, and a few examples they have given. So essentially, through this, what they want to know is you as a person. So I would recommend that okay, so basically, how I saw this question was that if there are certain things in my profile that I was not able to fit in my previous questions or my versatility table or anything like that, I thought that I'll fit it here, uh, take advantage of this. But I also wanted to show parts of my personality and my hobby. So essentially, because some of you also reached out to me saying that you had hobbies in which you did not achieve any medals or something, which is why you were not able to put it pehle. in, the different places in the SPJMR form. So I would recommend you to put them there. So you basically, any statement around your hobby, like for example, I like watching Formula One and I am interested in that. So if I were to put a statement around that, I would put a statement like, if I got an opportunity to switch careers, I'd be a Formula One driver. Obviously, now this is more than 10 words, but I would encourage you to initially come up with all of these ideas on your own. Do not chat GPT them. Chat GPT does not know your personality. And if even 10 of you go and chat GPT this, it will give all of you very similar answers. And then, I mean, your profiles will not look as good, honestly. So do not do that and build your person. Use this particular question to insanely build your personality, right? Now, the if anyone has any questions on like the first question itself, please feel free to ask me. I am unable to see the YouTube live comments, so if anyone, Hemant or anyone, could pick a few up for me, if anything, pops up there, I'd be happy to answer. But for now, moving on to the second question. The second question is essentially describe one instance time where you significantly contributed to enhancing someone's sense of inclusion in your professional or personal community. You can choose either one, of course. So I remember that for this, I took a professional example because usually professional examples hold a higher degree of, let's say, credibility in the terms of them being truer. But again, some of you might be freshers as well, so it's totally fine to use a personal examples. Uh, and you can also use examples outside of your work ex and kind of at the cusp of your personal life. For example, in terms of your college office projects, sorry, your college course projects, your college internship projects, your college life projects, and your college society or club projects. So any of these. Now over here, essentially what they want to ask you is that how are you inclusive of people? Again, to me, I would interpret this as a personality sort of question, as like a DEI sort of understanding of you, because over here we do give a lot of importance to DEI and inclusion and sort of, who you are as a person more than what your grades and achievements are. So that is something that this question is asking. If I were to tell you what I wrote in this question, I talked about someone during my work ex who I helped, who was not from, so basically I was placed in, I was working in Gurgaon, and there were a few people not from, the northern part of India, and they felt a little excluded. So I talked about how I helped them feel more included within the team since they were a smaller proportion. And at the same time, I also talked about how I set up, celebrating certain festivals which are not celebrated on an entire Gurgaon office level, but would make them feel more included in our team. So doing small activities like potlucks on those days, special delicacies on those days, help them feel better. So this is something that I did and I wrote about. But I mean, so you guys can find similar ways because all of us do end up helping someone along the way. So like all of you, come up with as many true stories as possible, because the one thing that I learned throughout my prep, uh, throughout my GDPI prep for any college, was the amount of lie or the amount of, false stories you create, that only comes to bite you back the wrong ways. Because you, if asked a follow-up question, you kind of falter and you kind of, give up in that manner. So I would suggest you not to create any false stories. But I mean, if you cannot come up with anything, then at least create a very, very strong base of all of these stories, right? So that is a very strong advice that I would give to all of you. But I would highly, highly, highly encourage that please come up with those stories. You all are good people. You have to have done something for it. This is the second question. The third question is describe an achievement, experience, or realization that led to significant personal growth or deepened your self-awareness. Okay. So for this question, what they want you to do is they want you to essentially for you to find, let's say, an inflection point in your life, something that helped you realize that, okay, that I don't know everything. Or something where you realize that I did not know a lot before. Now, at least I attempted to learn more, or something like that. Or like, I would Yeah, something like that. I don't remember what I wrote for this answer, but it would be even great if you can somehow link this to how you decided to pursue MBA. So that is sort of like a double protect. So like a two-factor authentication that you do on your Gmail, this will be something like that for your why MBA as well. Can be if you're able to come up with something like that. So essentially, let's say you come up with a project experience during your work ex, which makes you feel that which made you feel that okay, I did not know in this entire management side of it, the entire planning side of it, but now I do know. And now that I know, this has unlocked a lot of personal growth for me because after that, I started looking at projects in that light. So that's like your moment of reflection, your significant growth moment. And further, you build up in like a very few words that this is why I also decided to pursue MBA. Do not make this the center point of the answer. The center point of the answer is still going to be that point or that experience that made you unlock significant potential personal growth or made you more aware of your capabilities, your weaknesses, or something. However, so yeah, so do that, but only if possible, like 10 to 20 words of this 150 word answer can be an addition that why you can. Uh, yeah, okay. I'll just take the questions in the chat, Hemant. One second, I'll just finish with this one. So, yeah. So you have to kind of pick that answer, pick that. You can also use that to kind of frame your MBY, MBA ka sort of, let's say, a double factor authentication in the end of such. That you can do. While I was saying this, I mentioned that you can, while you're talking about self-awareness, you can talk about weakness. But again, all of us have weaknesses, but I would not recommend that you talk about your weaknesses, like your deepest, darkest weaknesses, because at the end of the day, they will select you for your strengths and how you cure, and how you, let's say not cure is not the right word, how you improve upon your weaknesses. So do not put any, catastrophic weakness that you cannot work, you get very unmotivated, demotivated. Everyone does, but I mean, maybe let's not talk about that. So do not talk about your weaknesses very openly in this answer. I would want you to focus more on growth or achievement or something that you achieved during which you identified personal growth. That will be amazing. So something like that. I got a few doubts in the chat. I think I'll just take an answer for that. How can we highlight our personality through this question? Please give an example. This question is coming from Harsh Arora. Absolutely, absolutely, Harsh. So I think you're referring to the first question where I said that I want you to reveal your personality using this. So essentially, what I meant, I'll give you an example. So basically, my entire profile kind of finance heavy and very, acad heavy rather than having a lot of co-curriculars, which I did not have in my profile. So for me, this section became the only portion where I can talk about stuff that I've done apart from academics. Otherwise, I would appear to be a very boring person, right? So I put in that I like watching Formula One. I put in something about cooking and baking because that's something I'm good at. I also I talked about something quirky. So I would basically, you have to put 10 things, right? So divide them. That's what I did. So you divide them. I used four or five, I remember, put my academic things, to put my work experience, to put something like that. So one thing that I just put that I was the youngest on my team to lead something. So that kind of shows them that I'm good at it, but also in an interesting way, right? To show my personality, I put in that I have put in 50 plus hours for consulting for NGOs. So that kind of shows that I am considerate of the society. I am taking care of, like, I'm trying to give back to the society as much as I can with my limited skill set and as a student. So that is the one way I showed my personality. Apart from that, talk about your interests, not only like your full-fledged hobbies, but talk about your interests, but talk about only those interests that you can follow up in the interview. So like if I talked about Formula One, I knew which teams were, at least which teams, which players, what championships. I had a favorite player, I had a favorite circuit, I had ideas of the different circuits. So basically, talk about things, but talk about things that you can actually follow it up or back it up that you do know about it, right? And the second question is, बीसीए वालों को कौन सा एमबीए अच्छा रहेगा, प्लीज बताइए फ्रेश. ओके. सो आई थिंक दैट फॉर एनी सॉर्ट ऑफ degree, MBA is a very general course that you guys, anyone can do. So I'd say that it depends on your calls itself, what calls you have, and you might want to decide on the best ones among from them. So I'm pretty sure that this might not be your actual name, but the new one person who has put this in the chat, I think you can connect with us personally on that front, and we can help you with that. If there are any more chats, thanks, Hemant. Please continue putting them in the this thing chat box. Thanks a lot. I'll move on to the last question. The last question is, describe a situation where you failed. How did you handle this failure? Now, this question is essentially, it's an important question because they want to see. Okay, so do not put any. Sorry for my harshness over here. I'm going to be a little harsh. Do not put any first world, like, do not put any first world problems. Do not put the problems that I could not get my favorite this, I could not get my favorite that. Those are not really problems, guys. Uh, because that will only make the interview, because I know that some people were asked this, that okay, so you did not have any hardships, so you created something random. Do you even know what real hardships are like? So do not give the interviewer the chance to ask this. The best way to answer, also do not put any, very, very major failure that you guys might have had, which you think is a very major failure. Do not put that in here. So my standard approach to answer this question, the way I did it, was that always put the first statement as, I have always been thankful and grateful I am very grateful in my life to not have had any major failure. But the instance where I faced a speed bump in my journey or something like that is, and then you continue with your answer, right? So essentially, do not sound very dramatic and do not downplay it too much as well, because if you downplay it too much, then they'll feel like that you did not have any struggle, then they'll make you think on spot. And for an answer that you can take some time and think and write, it's better to do that rather than to have to think on spot because you wrote something that they don't want to accept. And trust me, they might ask you questions on this. There is a very good chance that they ask you questions on this, at least from the first and the fourth question. So do that. And in this failure, if you do have some, something, some tragic sort of thing that has happened to you, unfortunately, you can talk about that, but do not try to gain pity points with this, because I've seen some people do it while most people do not want to do it. And I totally support and appreciate that. The tone might get like that. So, okay, so do not try to be like overly dramatic with it. Just explain it in the most objective manner that you can, that this was my hardship. This is what happened, and this is how I overcame it. Essentially this. Because if you, okay, yeah, so okay, I think I did not mention this before. I genuinely would love for all of you to also mention towards the end in around 40 to 50 words, how did you overcome it? Or if you've not overcome it already, what are you doing to overcome it? Because no one would like to see, because you're being future managers, right? So if you're being future managers, they also want to see that if you come up with a failure, how did you solve it, or like how did you do it? And it's okay that if you're not through it already, just tell them how you are doing it and what are your plans to do it in the future, like deal with it in the future, essentially. So that's how I would like you to answer. I think we have a bunch of questions. I'll take these and then we can have some more questions, because I think that's the idea that I wanted to give to all of you guys. So question from Arpita in the Zoom chat: should these hardships be more professional or personal? I think you mean the fourth question. I think these hardships can be both personal and professional. That's totally, totally fine. I remember putting the professional one because to me, personal I mean, at Touchwood, I've honestly been grateful and blessed to not have a lot of hardships. But I did talk about my professional hardships. And when we talk about professional hardships, guys, please don't put that your managers are toxic or that your managers did this or that. while it is a real struggle, I also did not have a very good manager initially, but please do not talk about that because at the end, because this will open up two lines of questioning. One is that what wrong did your manager do? How will you correct it? That is the good line. You're lucky if you get this line of questioning because it helps you show more about yourself. But more likely than not, it will go in the direction of so you can't handle hardships, you can't handle tough things, and they'll talk to you about how you handled it and they'll just grill you on it. Most people will just grill you on it. So I would request you to not talk about your managers in this. Maybe talk about team dynamics if you want to talk about something professional, if you have something in that area. So yeah, I hope Arpita that answers your questions. For me personally, I prefer to put in professional scenarios, but I'm equally okay with the personal ones if as long as the true you sound genuine writing them and you sound genuine talking about them, because that's the issue with personal ones. People fake them all the time. Can I say, uh, okay, so there's another question. Can I say my regarding my poor performance in an interview? Uh, Shashwat, do you mean that from an hardship for the hardship wala question or from a for a significant growth wala question? Like, which question is it for the third or the fourth? Can you just clarify that to me in the chat or unmute yourself? Hardship. Okay, cool. Uh, mm, mm, yep. Uh, let me think about it. So, I mean, if you state only this, it might sound a little, a surface level, if that makes sense. I mean, not to diminish your struggles, but I would want you to add more context and more depth to it. Then obviously this can be mentioned. So the kind of depth that I might be expecting over here from you is that you expected less. So you prepared less. You could not prepare a lot because you had certain challenges in understanding what the new job role is, what the company is, and something like that. And then from that you got the learning of, let's say, that you'll be more prepared, you'll do your research more, you'll start on time, so you learn lessons of time management, knowledge management, and and stuff like that. So essentially, something like that can be crafted, but I would want you to add more depth to it because just putting it like that sounds a little too surface level, according to me, in my opinion.
Okay,
Now,
Ravi, uh,
yeah,
we can move forward, but before that, we have to integrate the GDPI course. Otherwise, the Zoom session
yes,
ends. It's an automated thing. Okay,
yeah,
so
yeah,
guys,
let's do that.
uh, all of these questions and answers, our mentors, including Ravi and Sneha here, they personally review your answers before you submit them. So you can have 2 to 3 iterations of these, and they personally review it so that it doesn't mess up your final interview with SP Jain or any other college. This has been the structure of our course the entire time. And along with this, we provide unlimited number of mock PI and GD. The VAT sessions are going on daily. Along with this, we have planned 40 plus domain sessions, HR sessions, and finance marketing. आज ही हमारा finance पे session है. So it is all there. And if you want to join, you can just click on the link in the chat section. You can see. Yes, Ravi, we can take the other doubts.
Great. Uh, there's just two more. I'll just do these quickly. Uh, so I think Krish has asked regarding which round of the interview should we take. I had a doubt regarding which round of interview should be taken. Does the giving an interview on a later day affect the chance? Okay, so Krish, I don't think it affects your chances of getting selected, but at the same time, I will say that I will definitely say that you guys will. I mean, there's a lot of people, good candidates spread throughout. So the interviewers would have seen a lot of good candidates before you as well. So you will have to work extra hard to improve. So, to impress themselves. Also, they would know that the amount of time you've had to prepare is higher than the amount of time that the others have had. So they would be expecting a higher degree of performance from you. So, I mean, if it is a trade-off, your time for prep and your this thing and your degree that you have to impress the interviewer. So it's a trade-off. It's a personal trade-off for you guys. I chose somewhere in the middle. So I gave my interviews in Delhi. So I chose the first Delhi slot that I could find. Luckily, it was not the 27 Jan wala time. It was my interview was I think around 14th or 15th of Feb, if I'm not wrong. It was the very first interview I gave. So yeah. So I would suggest you to give it something in sometime in the middle if you do not have any geographic restrictions. As early as possible is my advice to you guys. As early as possible. Give it as early as possible. Uh, extracurricular activity. So if you do not have a lot of extracurricular activities, that's fine. I also did not have them, honestly. So basically, if you do not have a lot of extracurricular activities, talk about your interests. Because I mean, you have to have certain interests which you do not pursue in the form of activities, right? Watching something, following some sport. These are hobbies that I would want you to list. Uh, I have got a job in TCR without delaying joining. Got my offer in July. Uh, I am not really sure about this. So if this will be treated as a gap or not. But I mean, how much is the joining being delayed is my question because my joining was delayed by, I think I was home for June. My joining was delayed by 3 months. So basically, I also had this kind of a gap of 3 months. But so essentially an effective gap of 2 months. So a gap of 2 months, I was never ever questioned about it. But I think that some people in my batch had a gap of like 8 months, 7 months. In that case, you might be asked. And in that case, you will have to, I would suggest you to put something that you did during this time, either personal growth, personal development, or some professional projects. Because essentially, it kind of just shows that you did not just, sit idle. You decided to utilize your time more. So I would encourage you to fill your time up with that. Okay, Hemant, the boss has asked me to give you some tips per question. So, okay, I think this will be more like a conclusionary thing from my end. If you guys have any more questions, feel free to chat, feel free to connect with Hemant, join our course. You get unlimited questions, you get personal help to fill all these forms as well. So, I'll just take these questions one by one and talk about the tips. So, the first question, which talks about again the 10 random things. Uh, no, he's not a boss. He's a good friend. Boss is a way of referring to him. Yeah. So, for the first question, simply I would request you to break it up. Thoda sa professional, like put two, 3 points of professional, 2, 3 points of your interest, 2, 3 points of some quirky stuff that you can talk about. So basically, I am personally obsessed with a country called Monaco. So I put something like that. If I were to ever move out of India, I would want to live in Monaco. So that would give the interviewers an option to talk to me about Monaco, which I know and I'm interested about, right? Then the second thing is then the second question is talking about instance where you significantly contributed to someone else's life. Now, make in this the only major tip that I will give you is that make sure that the contribution you made is significant. Just helping someone, let's say, fix their PC or something is not significant. If you taught your house help's child, just ensure that whatever you write you help them achieve is significant enough, or like this difference you made is significant enough. Then third is the achievement. Again, do not try do I would request, I mean, I would personally, it is a tip from my personal end. You guys can choose to ignore it. Do not put a lot of negative stuff in this question. Even for the fourth one, do not put a lot of negative stuff. Because in general, reading your profile should give them an idea of who you are, not you trying to get pity points. So do not try to get pity points. And I think these are the broad tips that I have for all of these. I have covered the details already. Anything I missed, Sneha, please feel free to add. Hemant, please feel free to add. Yeah, I think I've covered all the basics from my end. Any more questions here only?
हाँ, कैन वाज फ्रूटफुल। तो कुछ कुछ चीज़ें हैं मानी मैंने एसपी जे रिव्यू नहीं दिया है, बट आई स्टिल एडेड बिकॉज दोस आर सम जेनेरिक थिंग्स। ओके, तो द नंबर वन थिंग definitely where Sneha, like sorry, Ravi has told that 10 random things. So keep it a healthy mix. Do not just think कि सब में ही आपको उनको बहुत चक्का करना है, सब में ही आपको उनको एकदम quirky दिखना है। तभी दिक्कत का बात हो जाता है, बिकॉज अंडरस्टैंड दिस इज नॉट हाउ द वे यू टॉक। सो इफ दे सी दैट यू हैव बीन टू क्वर्की हेयर एंड वहां जाके आप एकदम ब्लाइंड पर्सनालिटी दिखा दो, तो ऐसा ना मिसमैच सा लगेगा कि भाई किससे बात कर रहे थे, ये कौन आ गया अचानक से। ठीक है, तो थोड़ा उस हिसाब से रखना कि उनको लगे हाँ भाई दोनों सेम ही इंसान हैं जिससे मैं बात कर रहा हूँ। ठीक है, सेकेंडली वॉट एवर यू राइट जस्ट इंश्योर दैट यू नो इन डेप्थ अबाउट इट सो मच। पूछ रहे नींद से भी उठा के पूछ रहे तो आपको पता हो, बिकॉज इंटरव्यू सिनारियो वेयर आपको सबका इंटरव्यू सुनना पड़ता है। आपसे कभी भी कुछ भी पूछ सकते हैं कि भाई इसने क्या बोला, या आपने जहां से लास्ट छोड़ा था वहीं से कंटिन्यू करो। तो यू विल हैव टू बी वेरी वेरी प्रेजेंट, वेरी वेरी माइंडफुल, एंड दैट इज व्हाई इट बिकम्स अ हाई स्टेक्स गेम्स एज वेल। कि जहाँ पे आपने अपना माइंडफुलनेस लूज किया, जहाँ पे आपने अपना वो प्रेजेंस लूज किया, आई थिंक इवन दो योर इंटरव्यू इज गोइंग गुड दैट विल रिफ्लेक्ट नेगेटिवली। ठीक है, हैव अ गुड क्वेश्चन in with yourself to ask in the interview. I remember one example, I don't know किसने पूछा था, one of my seniors told me कि SPJMI का लोगों में शायद 5 डंडियां है, राइट रावी? उस तो 5 पिलर्स
Okay, yes,
काइंड
they
ऑफ है।
do ask about that. The five strokes of SP Jabbar logo. These are very well defined, and I
Yes,
would want you guys to read upon the core principles and these five strokes. And
yes,
stakes, guys, please try to recall and remember the full form of SP Jain. That's the founder, Shyam Prasad Jain. I mean, please, just know these very, very basic stuff. These are expected when you sit for any college. And yeah, what Hemant said, it's a group interview. So that's a very well put fact that
yes,
you have to be attentive not only when you are being asked questions, but all the time when others are being asked questions, because you will be asked a follow-up question to others' questions.
yes। उस पे मैं ऐड करूंगा। सो आई रिमेम्बर लाइक व्हाट्स एन एग्जांपल ऑफ अ वेरी गुड क्वेश्चन कि आई थिंक देयर आर सम, सो एसपी जेएमआर follows a lot of ethics and I think they have some 5 code of ethics as well। ठीक है, तो एक जन ने पूछा था एंड में जाते जाते कि सर जो वो 5 strokes है, बिकॉज दोज आर नॉट इक्वल इन साइजेस एज फार एज आई नो, आई हैव नॉट सीन in them, those are not equal in sizes. So are those 5 representing the ethics, and if yes, then which one is less or more because the size is different? तो किसको आप ज्यादा, है ना, वो देते हो, वेटेज देते हो? इज देयर एनी एथिक विच यू गिव मोर वेटेज और लेस वेटेज टू बेस्ड ऑन द स्ट्रोक का साइज? इट्स लाइक ब्लोन अवे कि हाँ भाई चलो ये क्वेश्चन होता है कि इंसान के ऊपर ये बहुत अच्छा इमेज छोड़ के जाएगा। ठीक है, तो बी वेरी माइंडफुल वहां पे भी कि दिस लास्ट काइंड ऑफ प्रिपरेशन जो मैटर करता है ना, वो बहुत ज़्यादा मैटर कर जाता है। बट दैट्स इंटरव्यू का पार्ट, वो हम लोग हमेशा अपने इंटरव्यू वाले कोर्स में कवर करते हैं कि हाउ यू लीव द लास्ट इंप्रेशन इन अ मैनर कि वो स्टिक करें। ठीक है, अभी डिस्क्राइब वन इंस्टेंस ऑफ अ टाइम यू सिग्निफिकेंट इनहांसिंग समवन सेल्फ ऑफ इंक्लूजन। अब इंक्लूजन का मतलब क्या होता है? अगर वो इंसान लेफ्ट आउट फील कर रहा है, अगर उस इंसान को इक्वल राइट्स नहीं मिल रहे, इक्वल प्रिविलेजेस नहीं मिल रहे, तो आपने ऐसा क्या किया जिससे इंश्योर करें कि आप उसके राइट को, उसकी डिग्निटी को अपहोल्ड करें, आप उसको फील कराएं कि वो भी इस समाज का पार्ट है। ठीक है, एंड इट कैन बी वेरी स्मॉल थिंग बट मीन वेरी मच। तो इनफैक्ट इवन की आई डोंट नो हाउ मच इट विल स्टैंड टू रावी कैन से इट मोर, बट अगर कोई ऐसी सिचुएशन में फंसा था जहाँ पे मान लो वेरी वेरी सिंपल कि भाई, अगर मेरे साथ अगर ऐसा होता कि मैं खेलने गया कहीं, ठीक है, एंड मेरे साथ ऐसा बचपन में बहुत हुआ है कि मेरे को खिला नहीं रहा कोई, बट अगर किसी ने बोला कि जा आ तू मेरे साथ खेल ले, ठीक है, तो वो मेरे लिए बहुत बहुत सिग्निफिकेंट इम्पैक्ट छोड़ता है कि हाँ भाई मेरे को लोगों की अच्छाइयों में भरोसा होगा, हाँ मेरे को दोस्त मिलेंगे, हाँ मैं लेफ्ट आउट फील नहीं करूंगा। एंड नॉट श्योर कि आप कितने टैंजिबली उसको देख सकते हो कि लाइफ में कितना ज़्यादा इफेक्ट किया है, बट एटलीस्ट यू हैव tried to put a difference in someone's life. Obviously not everyone gets chances to do that much significant thing कि वो एनजीओ ज्वाइन करके कुछ कर रहा है या कुछ। जैसे मेरे केस में अभी मैं बोल सकता हूँ, पहले मैं बोलता कि मैं एनजीओ में काम करता था, अनप्रिविलेज चिल्ड्रंस के लिए हमने फंड रेज किया था उनके एजुकेशन के लिए। आज के दिन मैं बोल सकता हूँ कि यार वो तो है ही होगा जिनका क्या बिगड़ सकता था, मे बी अपने एक्सपीरियंसेस से उसको दिया। एंड द मैग्नीट्यूड ऑफ इंटेंट, लाइक द मैग्नीट्यूड ऑफ व्हाट आई हैव डन इज देयर, इज शोन, ठीक है। तो उस चीज को आपको बहुत डीपली सोचना होगा एंड आपको उसको ओन अप भी करना पड़ेगा कि यू रियली मेंट व्हाट इट वाज देयर, राइट। यू कैन नॉट जस्ट बी ऑन द सरफेस लेवल कि मैं एनजीओ में ज्वाइन किया था, मैंने ये बेचा था, नहीं। कैसे उसने इम्पैक्ट किया, क्या आपने उस इम्पैक्ट को ट्रैक किया कि नहीं, क्या आपने कभी उससे फॉलो अप किया कि नहीं, बस एक बार करके भूल गए। एवरीथिंग मैटर्स। योर इन्वॉल्वमेंट इन दिस होल प्रोसेस विल शो हाउ मच यू सिग्निफिकेंटली कॉन्ट्रीब्यूटेड, ठीक है। तो इन्वॉल्वमेंट मैटर्स अलॉट, इस पूरे प्रोसेस का इन्वॉल्वमेंट इज द की। डिस्क्राइब एन अचीवमेंट एक्सपीरियंस दैट लेड टू अ सिग्निफिकेंट पर्सनल ग्रोथ। हाँ, लाइक रावी टोल्ड, एंड आई थिंक मैंने भी अपने के का उसमें बताया है कि इट कैन बी पर्सनल एज वेल एज प्रोफेशनल। जो इसमें बोला है, मैंने के का फॉर्म में क्या भरा था मेरे को याद है, रावी इफ यू हैव सीन दैट वीडियो नॉट। मैं, मेरा मोस्ट सिग्निफिकेंट अचीवमेंट में क्या था ना, मैंने भरा था कि मैं कभी भी स्टेज पे जाके बोला नहीं था। जब फर्स्ट ईयर ऑफ माई कॉलेज में टोस्ट मास्टर्स केम,
Hemant, I think there is some internet issue from your side. रावी, आप तब तक डाउट्स ले लो, आपका
Oh,
कैमरा
I
पे
was in
माइक ऑन।
mute. Yes.
यस।
I think in the meantime, I'll take a bunch of doubts that have appeared. So Harsh was asking that he has a marketing and BM call. Okay, so it'll be definitely be around both. So essentially, BM is just your regular MBA only, जिसके अंदर you guys get to pick your focus area, pick your specialization later on. So it'll be around both. The second question is how to be motivated. I mean, this is more of a deeper conversation, and I think we'll hold on to it for later. Does having a group interview make it less grilling on self-profile? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. You have to pull your own weight. No one is going to make the blow easier for you. So it does not make it less grilling. It can be that you are the one who's the only one grilled in the panel. So be prepared. For the course, fourth question, evidencing. Okay. So I think what Ayush asked, I'll just say what I think, and Hemant is back and he can add on to it. So Ayush has asked that how to strike a balance between not saying negative things but still describing a situation where I failed. So,
हाँ मैं
we're not
बताता हूँ।
saying you to not say negative things. Say negative things, but put a positive twist to it in the end, is what I believe. So basically, you talk about some failure you've had, then you talk about how you dealt with that failure. Then you, so essentially put in 20 words what failure you had, then talked about what it was, how it affected you, then talk about how you dealt with it. So essentially the answer follows a structure. You talk about the negative, very negative thing first and get done with it. Then you talk about how it affected you. Then you talk about how you dealt with it. So it ends on a positive note. So that's how I structured my answer in this. And again, uh, do not say I failed a lot. Maybe just say I lagged. or I was not up to the mark. That's my personal opinion, because the more times you say I failed, the more times you make other person believe you failed. So I think that's about it on this from me. I think Hemant can add more.
हम्म सॉरी आई थिंक आई गॉट डिस्कनेक्टेड। हाँ, तो मैं उस ग्रेटेस्ट अचीवमेंट का बोला था, वो सुना था क्या? पूरा हो गया था वो?
Toastmasters पे भी lost you when you said
ओके,
that in the year
तो
first year of college.
Toastmasters आया, I volunteered to go up on the stage. I never spoke before, never did any public speaking before, and there were 800 people. मैं प्रॉपरली भाई मेरी फटी पड़ी थी, मैं फिर भी गया। मैं बेकार बोलता हूँ, मेरे को पता है कि मैं जज हो रहा हूँ, लोग हंसेंगे, मेरे दोस्त वहाँ हंस भी रहे थे। एंड व्हेन आई केम डाउन फ्रॉम द स्टेज, आई वाज ट्रेम्बलिंग, आई वाज फुल इन स्वेट, एंड थ्रू आउट द रेस्ट ऑफ द सेशन माई, अब ये एंग्जाइटी से मेरा पाँव शेक हो रहा था, ठीक है। बट बिकॉज दैट हैपेंड, उसके बाद से मेरा फियर ऑफ बीइंग जज पूरा जा चुका था। आई वॉज comfortable, absolutely comfortable going up on the stage and speak anything that I want, because I know कि people भले ही वो जज करते हैं, वो अच्छों को भी जज करेंगे, खराब को भी जज करेंगे, राइट। अच्छों को बोलेंगे और अच्छा कर सकता था, खराब को गाली देंगे कि भाई इसको तो जाना ही नहीं चाहिए था, बट सुनेंगे तो है ही, सुनना तो होगा ही, बिकॉज दे डिड नॉट गो अप ऑन द स्टेज, राइट। एंड उसके बाद जो हुआ, आई थिंक दैट वाज अ मोमेंट कि उसके बाद जो मैंने किया वो कभी हो ही नहीं पाता अगर ये मोमेंट नहीं होता। तो इसीलिए मैं इसको अपना ग्रेटेस्ट अचीवमेंट बोलता हूँ कि वो जो हिम्मत मैंने दिखाई ना, कि हाँ मैं वहां जा सकता हूँ और कुछ कर सकता हूँ जस्ट टू ब्रेक फ्री, मेरे लिए वो ग्रेटेस्ट अचीवमेंट था। आई एम नॉट श्योर हाउ वुड इट विल पुट अप विथ एसपी जयम और रावी, बट मैं यही लिखता अगर मैं फॉर्म भरता। इफ यू कैन ऐड एनी इनपुट्स ऑन दैट, इट्स अप टू यू।
No, I think that this is a great thing to put it. But again, the all I would say is that कोई भी चीज, if you put it in your answer, just add context to it, make it deeper. कुछ भी like Hemant said, surface level मत बताना। कोई personal experience surface level नहीं बताना, कोई professional experience surface level नहीं बताना, कोई knowledge point कुछ भी surface level नहीं। Because the second they think surface level कुछ बता रहे हो, they'll catch you on it and they'll grill. And because तुमने surface level सच में बताया है, तुम्हें पता भी उतना ही होगा। There's no point of doing anything surface level is all I will say.
ठीक है। एंड फाइनल क्वेश्चन, डिस्क्राइब अ सिचुएशन वेयर यू फेल्ड, हाउ डिड यू हैंडल फेलियर? सो रावी हैज परफेक्टली सेड कि बहुत ज़्यादा अपने आप को नेगेटिव कॉनोटेशन में मत डालो। इनफैक्ट आई से people who fail are the ones who are trying. So show it in a way that you tried something and it did not match your expectation, which came as a failure for you but was still a learning experience. For example, अगर मैंने GDPI कोर्स बेचने का कोशिश किया, मेरा 200 का टारगेट है, मैं 100 पे हूँ अभी, मैं 150 पे रुक गया, अगर आप लोग एनरोल नहीं करोगे, जो मेरे को बुरा लगेगा, तो वो एक फेलियर सॉर्ट ऑफ नहीं है, बट मेरे टारगेट के लिए वो फेलियर है, राइट। बिकॉज मैंने मेहनत की, मैंने सब कुछ सेटअप किया, मैंने अपना टाइम दिया। इट इज अ सॉर्ट ऑफ फेलियर, बट इट इज better than not doing anything, right? So I learned in this process, I learned that where I was not doing well, I could have done well, but still in this process I handled 150 students, I handled the mentors, I handled the YouTube channel, I handled the people who were working with me and orchestrated all of it. So show it, मतलब ये पॉजिटिव ही है एक तरह से, इट्स अ पॉजिटिव मास्क इन नेगेटिव वेयर फेलियर हैपेंड, बट इट वाज नॉट अ फेलियर फॉर द वर्ल्ड, इट वाज अ फेलियर फॉर यू। सो यहाँ पे वो यही पूछ रहे हैं कि कहाँ आप फेल हुए, एंड आई थिंक द फेलियर का स्टैंडर्ड आप ही सेट करते हो अपने लिए। मैं इसको ऐसे नेविगेट करता है एट दिस पॉइंट। आई एम नॉट श्योर रावी वुड अदरवाइज से इट और नॉट, बिकॉज एक चीज जरूर है, जब आप इसको इस तरह से नेविगेट करते हो, यू हैव टू बी एब्सोल्युटली कॉन्फिडेंट, क्योंकि ये दिख रहा है कि जहाँ पे आप वो डबल एज स्वॉर्ड पे खेल रहे हो, कि आपने क्वेश्चन को बहुत ही स्मार्टली डॉज किया। यू डिड नॉट outright say that it was a failure, or you did not maintain like mention a negative connotation to anything when the question kind of seeks that from you. So you have to really put it in the manner, जैसे मैं इसको put it करता है कि भाई मैंने 1 साल मेहनत की, जॉब के साथ किया, सब किया, फिर भी मैं नहीं ग्रो कर पाया, तो वो मेरे लिए बहुत बड़ा फेलियर था, बिकॉज मैं टाइम इन्वेस्टमेंट के प्रोपोर्शनेट वो नहीं था, ठीक है। मैंने जो अथॉरिटी बिल्ड की, मैंने जो ट्रस्ट बिल्ड किया, मेरे को समझ आया कि वो ट्रस्ट लोगों में है नहीं, इसलिए वो खरीदे नहीं, इसलिए मैं मोनेटाइज नहीं कर पाया, शायद मैं स्ट्रेटेजाइज नहीं कर पाया, मैनेज नहीं कर पाया, तो वो मेरे फेलियर है, ठीक है। उसको आपको दिखाना होगा जेन्युइनली कि यू फील इट इन योर सेल्फ, इट्स अ फेलियर, कि आज के दिन मेरा अगर 200 कंप्लीट नहीं हुआ, आई जेन्युइनली फील इट्स अ फेलियर. Ravi, you have anything to add on this?
No, I agree with you. I completely agree with what you said. So that's right. But just be true to what you answer. Just try to make it as realistic as possible. Make it a realistic he had. And so I think that's what Hemant said. I have to agree with that. Yeah.
Yes. I don't think there are any more questions, or there are any. Is there a difference between PGDM and MBA? You guys have experience. I think MBA comes from UGC guidelines. UGC के अंडर होता है. PGDM is not a the proper, मेरे को उसका डिस्टिंक्शन याद नहीं आ रहा, बट हाँ, इट्स अ
I think it's
डिस्टिंक्शन
like
फ्रॉम.
MBA को PGDM is the diploma that we do. It's a
हाँ
postgraduate
वही.
diploma in management, and MBA is like the full something. So essentially, it's a for, if I were to explain it in very simple word, it is a very this thing technical sort of thing. So whatever it's, I mean,
हाँ,
for
it
me,
does
the
not,
way I understood it, ki same ही है.
it does not मतलब वो affect anything. I think MBA is given
Yeah,
under a university, and PGDM is given by standalone institutions like SP Jain and all. Because जब आप
yeah.
in university के अंदर आते हो, then you will have to follow a lot of norms and guidelines. That is why I don't think we have received MBA as a degree. It's just postgraduate program है ना,
We to
diploma.
get. I think you guys get PGP degrees and we get PGDM degrees.
हाँ, तो PGDM
If
is
that's
a
that's what
diploma.
I know. I mean, it doesn't really affect your preparation or
हाँ.
your MBA education or the output as such, if that's what you're more concerned about.
और कुछ, किसी को और दुविधा, दुख दुविधा परेशानी? Anything else, Karthik? Is there any other question that I think we can end? Okay. Thank you so much, Ravi, for being here. Unfortunately, Sneha could not join because she was outside for some urgent work. But I think Ravi covered most of it. We are really grateful that you were able to, put light on this. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Thank you, Hemant, for being here in the last time. Uh, and all the best. Genuinely wishing you guys, जिन लोगों भी call आया है, SP Jain is a great college. Really just do your best to convert it. It's a life-changing experience. And to make your journey smoother, join us.
Absolutely. All the very best, guys. And for more personal support, join us. Yeah.
Bye bye. See you.